All right, so Uber, huh? Big investor update. Lots to unpack here.
Yeah. Slides, financials, bold claims.
Yeah, bold claims. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, are they really going to change the world, like they say? Are they
Yeah.
actually making money?
And what about those self-driving cars? They've been talking about those for what feels like forever.
Right. So many questions.
Exactly. And we're going to dig into all of it today, see what Uber's vision for the future looks like.
Yeah, see if it holds up, you know.
Exactly.
What I find interesting is how they're trying to be more than just rides.
Right.
They want to be like the everything platform, you know, how we move, how we eat.
Right. Even thinking about owning a car. Like, do we even need to anymore?
That's the question, isn't
It
it?
is. But, okay, they start things off with this big mission statement, right? Reimagine the way the world moves for the better.
Catchy, for sure.
It is. But then, of course, they have that disclaimer about forward-looking statements.
Right. Always got to cover their bases.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Basically saying, hey, we think this is going to happen, but who knows, right?
Yeah, the future is unpredictable.
Exactly. And before we get too lost in the big picture, let's look at how they're measuring success.
Okay.
They use those non-GAAP financial measures, adjusted EBITDA, free cash flow, all that. Can you break that down for us? What does it all mean?
Sure. So these non-GAAP measures, they're basically a way to show their core business performance,
Okay.
like adjusted EBITDA. It removes stuff that's not part of their everyday operations, one-time charges, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It helps them compare things year over year, make decisions internally.
Yeah.
You know, it's like looking at the engine of the business without all the distractions.
Got it. Got it. So it's about getting a clearer picture of their financial health.
Exactly.
Okay. But let's move beyond the numbers for a second. Uber's really pushing this idea of being more than just rides, right?
Right. They're doing food delivery, freight, even healthcare now.
It's like they want to be part of every on-demand market out there.
Yeah, it's all about the ecosystem of services for them.
Ecosystem, okay?
So you've got Uber Eats for delivery, Uber for business for, well, business travel.
Right.
Uber Health for healthcare transportation.
Makes sense.
And then they've got advertising across the whole platform.
Wow.
The goal is like one-stop shop for anything you need.
Okay.
Fast, efficient, all that.
I see. I see. And they keep talking about this platform concept. Like,
Right.
that's the key to everything. Shared technology, efficiency, profitability.
Exactly. It's the engine driving everything.
Yeah.
And this shared platform, it creates what's called a network effect.
Okay, network effect. I've heard that before, but...
So basically, more drivers attract more riders.
Right.
More riders attract more drivers. Same thing with merchants and couriers.
Okay, it's like a cycle.
Exactly. It fuels growth.
Yeah.
They're also like really into data.
Data, yeah.
10 million peak predictions per second.
Wow.
20,000 models trained per month. They're using AI for, well, pretty much everything.
So they're using data to fine-tune everything, like matching riders and drivers, personalizing stuff.
Yeah, even safety measures.
Wow, that's a lot of data.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about the platform, all these different services.
Right.
But their core business is still mobility, right? Rides. How's that doing?
You know, it's a global giant, that's for sure. $70 billion in gross bookings.
70 billion. Wow.
That's the value of all the rides they facilitated. And they're making $5 billion in adjusted EBITDA,
Okay.
operating in over 70 countries.
Those are some serious numbers. But can they keep growing? There's competition everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. And they're aware of it. That's why they're going after new markets aggressively. Argentina, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Korea.
Spain?
Wow, all over the place.
Yeah. Take Germany, for example. Dense population, great transportation. But ride-hailing isn't that big there yet.
Interesting.
So lots of potential for Uber, all these new markets together. They're already at a $3 billion annual run rate in gross bookings.
Yeah.
Shows how quickly they can expand. Yeah, that's a lot of growth. So they're diversifying their revenue, reducing reliance on any one market.
Exactly.
Smart move. But expanding globally is just one part of their strategy, right? They're also going beyond the basic UberX ride. They've got premium options like Black and Reserve, and then lower cost stuff like Moto and Auto.
Right, they're catering to a wider range of riders.
Everyone from budget conscious to those who want a more luxurious experience.
Exactly. And it's working. 30% of trips are now on non-UberX products.
Oh, wow. So people are really using those different options.
They are.
Interesting. They're even targeting new demographics, like teenagers with teen accounts and older adults with senior-friendly options.
Yep. They want to be the go-to transportation solution for everyone, no matter your age.
Okay. But all of this relies on drivers, right? How are they dealing with recruitment and retention? It seems like gig work is getting more and more competitive.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Without drivers, there's no Uber. They're tackling this on a few different fronts. First, they're using their existing courier pool.
Okay, makes sense. Someone delivering food might be open to driving people too.
Exactly. 20% of new mobility drivers' first trips come from the courier pool.
Oh, wow. So it's actually working.
It is. But individual drivers aren't enough.
So what else are they doing?
Well, they're partnering with fleet operators.
Okay.
Those contribute 18% of global supply hours now.
Fleet operators. So that's like a more stable source of drivers.
Exactly, especially in markets where it's hard to get individual drivers.
Smart. But it's not just about numbers, right? They're also talking a lot about flexibility for drivers.
Right. They're saying 9 out of 10 drivers value that flexibility and wouldn't continue without it.
It's a big selling point for gig work, for sure. Being your own boss, setting your own hours.
Right. They want to be the most driver-friendly platform out there.
That makes sense. But there's also the other side of that, right? The lack of benefits, job security, all that.
Right. There's definitely a debate about the balance between flexibility and worker protections.
Yeah. And it's something we'll be keeping an eye on for sure. But for now, let's switch gears a bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Uber Eats.
Ah, yes, the delivery giant.
It seems like everyone's ordering takeout these days. But is it actually profitable? Restaurant margins are pretty thin.
Right. So how does Uber make it work? We'll dig into that next time.
Sounds good. We'll be back with part 2 of our deep dive into Uber's world.
So Uber Eats, right. They're an investor update, some pretty big numbers there.
Yeah, they're saying $65 billion in gross bookings, $1.5 billion in adjusted EBITDA.
And they're leading the market in 7 of their top 10 countries.
It's true. I feel like everyone's ordering in these days. But those restaurant margins, they're notoriously tough.
Right. So how is Uber Eats making money? Well, what's interesting is they're not just doing restaurant delivery anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they're branching out. Like 14% of their customers are ordering groceries and retail items through the app each month.
So it's becoming that one-stop shop we talked about earlier.
Exactly. You can order dinner, get your groceries, maybe even pick up a last-minute gift.
All in the same app. That's convenient.
It is. And their Uber One membership, that's a big part of it.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those ads.
It's driving engagement, encouraging people to order more, members get discounts, perks, all that.
Across both rides and deliveries, right?
Exactly. And for the merchants, they're giving them more tools, too. Uber Direct, advertising.
So they're helping businesses succeed on the platform as well.
Yeah, it's about creating value for everyone involved.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's get back to that big question. Profitability.
Right. Can Uber actually make money?
For years, it seemed uncertain.
It did. But they hit a big milestone recently.
Oh, yeah.
GAAP operation profitability in Q2 of 2023.
So they're actually making consistent profits.
They are. And 85% of their top markets are profitable now.
Wow, most of those are even showing margin expansion since 2021.
Yep. Things are looking up for them financially.
That's good to hear. But profitability isn't just about income, right? It's also about managing cash flow.
Absolutely. And their free cash flow, that's been a focus for them.
Yeah, investors always watch that closely.
Rightfully so. And they've made a big turnaround there. It went from negative to a positive $3.3 billion in 2023.
So that's real cash they can use for investments, debt, or give back to shareholders.
Exactly. It's a sign of a healthy business.
Okay, so they're growing, they're profitable, cash flow is good.
They're firing on all cylinders.
It seems like it. And their 3-year plan, it's pretty ambitious.
Oh, yeah. They're projecting mid to high teens growth in gross bookings.
Driven by more users and more trips per user.
Exactly. Plus, adjusted EBITDA growth in the high 30s to 40% range.
Wow. And they're aiming for 90% or higher free cash flow conversion?
They want to turn almost all their profits into actual cash.
That's a strong position to be in. Gives them a lot of flexibility.
It does. They can pursue new opportunities, handle tough times, reward investors.
Okay, so financially, they're doing well. But they're also talking about their economic impact, sustainability efforts.
Right. They're highlighting the earnings of their drivers and couriers. $61.9 billion paid out in 2023.
That's a lot of money going back into the gig economy.
It is. And they're pushing for sustainability, too.
Sustainability, yeah. I've seen them talk about electric vehicles.
Exactly.
Okay.
Over 126,000 active ZEV drivers globally.
ZEV, that's zero-emission vehicles, right?
Yep. They double that number from last year.
Wow. So they're appealing to consumers who care about the environment.
Especially younger generations.
Makes sense. But with all this talk about platforms, profits, sustainability, it's easy to forget about self-driving cars.
Ah, yes, the futuristic element.
Right. Whatever happened to that?
Well, they've been quiet on that front lately. But their investor update gives us some clues.
Okay, what'd I say?
It seems like they're shifting their strategy a bit. They don't want to be the ones building the AV technology.
Really?
Yeah, they want to be the platform for it.
Okay, so instead of making their own self-driving cars, they want to be the platform that other AV companies use.
Exactly. They're partnering with like 10 different AV companies already.
Wow, including some of the biggest names in the industry.
Yep. They see autonomous vehicles as a key part of their future.
But will it actually work? And how will it affect Uber, society in general?
Those are the million-dollar questions. We'll get into that in part 3.
All right, so we talked about Uber's growth, profitability, their move into autonomous vehicles.
Right. Lots to cover.
There is. But let's go back to that big idea they keep bringing up.
Yeah.
This whole thing about car ownership becoming, like, obsolete.
Yeah, is that really going to happen?
Is it just a Silicon Valley fantasy? Or is it a possible future?
It's a big prediction, for sure. Lots of things have to happen for it to work.
Like what?
Well, first, Uber has to keep building out their services.
Okay, so more options.
Exactly. The more they offer, the less people need to own a car.
Right. I mean, if I can get a ride, order groceries, even rent a car, all through Uber.
And why bother owning one, right? Especially with all the costs that come with it.
Insurance, parking, maintenance, it adds up.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But there's also the psychological side of things.
Right. People like owning cars. It's about freedom, independence.
Yeah, and that's where they think autonomous vehicles come in.
Okay, AVs, how do those fit into the picture?
Well, AVs could make transportation much cheaper.
Okay,
So Uber becomes even more competitive with car ownership.
I see.
Imagine you summon an AV, it costs way less than owning a car.
No more insurance payments, gas, all that?
Exactly. Suddenly, ditching your car seems a lot more appealing.
Interesting. So it's not just about convenience anymore, it's about cost, too.
Right. It's about making Uber the more financially sensible option.
Okay, that makes sense. But there will always be people who just love driving.
Oh, for sure. And Uber knows that. They're not trying to force everyone to go car-free.
Okay.
It's about offering a choice, a different way of doing things. AVs could also help with accessibility.
Accessibility, yeah.
So people with disabilities, older adults, anyone who can't or doesn't want to drive
They could all have on-demand transportation.
without needing to own a car. It's a big social impact.
Right, it goes beyond just convenience.
It does, and it fits with the whole sustainability trend.
Yeah, less reliance on cars, less pollution.
Exactly. But let's be real, there are still challenges.
Challenges, yeah. Will AVs actually live up to the hype?
Right. Will people trust them? Will regulators allow them?
And what about jobs? If everyone's using AVs, what happens to drivers?
Lots of questions, and we don't have all the answers yet. But Uber's betting big on this future.
They think this is where things are headed.
They do. They want to be leading the way in this transportation revolution.
A world where transportation is on demand, affordable, accessible to everyone.
That's the vision.
Wow. So for our listeners, what does all this mean? This isn't just about Uber's financials. It's about a potential future, a future where transportation is totally different.
It's a story about ambition, technology changing the world.
Will they succeed? Who knows? But it'll be interesting to watch.
For sure. And it's something that'll probably affect all of us.
Right. Think about it. How would your life change without a car?
Would you use Uber for everything? What would happen to your city?
Lots to think about. As we navigate this future of transportation technology.
It's a journey, and we're all on it.
Well said. We'll be keeping an eye on all of this, and we'll be back with more deep dives soon.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone.